What's up, everyone? You guys might be noticing right now that I look a little bit different. Not just because of the sunburns I have all over my face after spending all week at the beach, but because I actually look different. Well, after constant inquiries about, Mike, when are you going to get a new camera? Mike, come on, it's not 2005 anymore. Mike, come on. I finally got off my ass and took the initiative of getting with the times and getting me a new camera. Might not be the greatest camera ever, but it's a step up from where I was. So in case you're watching this and wondering, I wonder why Mike doesn't look like a pixelated character from an 8-bit NES game. Now you know why. Anyway, now that we got that out of the way, I got a request from a user, Sunny H, and she wanted me to do a topic covering what my experience with coworkers at jobs and at work have been like, and if there have been misunderstandings because of Asperger syndrome, and since they're neurotypical and this and that. And I thought that was a great topic to cover. Even though there probably are lots of videos that cover this topic already, I wanted to put my own spin on it, and I wanted to take it just a little bit further and expand on it, and actually just make it a video about how Asperger's has affected my experience on the job site, out in the working world. Let's see, how has Asperger's affected my experiences in the working world? Well, not very well, to be honest with you. Not very well. Just like with most people in my life who at least get to know me a little bit, they might not know I have Asperger's, but they assume that I'm a little different or a little quirky, and that's just something the majority of people kind of just accept about me. Whatever, that's just Mike. Mike is quirky and weird and different. And he talks to himself and he talks about weird things or whatever. He has weird mannerisms. He plays with his hair a lot. He rocks back and forth. Things that are somewhat typical characteristics of Asperger syndrome. People just kind of accept that of me, even if they don't know that I have Asperger syndrome. That being said, having Asperger syndrome and those characteristics of having it have negatively affected me out in the working world, because the working world isn't really set up for people who have Asperger syndrome. When jobs were first being invented, I don't know when the hell they were invented. Just follow me when I'm talking about this. Whenever jobs were invented and businesses were first invented, I don't think they invented it to revolve around people who have Asperger syndrome. And because when you work at a job, especially a job that caters to customers and clientele and that kind of stuff, you have to have good people etiquette and people skills and social skills. And I know I talk about social skills. I must use the term social skills in the rest of my videos, more times than you can count. In fact, you could probably make a drinking game out of my videos. Take a shot anytime I say the words social skills, and I guarantee you will be plastered at the end of my videos, which, if anything, will make my videos even more enjoyable to you guys. I'm not condoning this, so I've been sober almost 5 months. Tomorrow's my 5-month sobriety anniversary, so, drink at your own risk. What was I just talking about again? Sorry, like I said, I'm really tired. I spent the weekend at my friend's place. He lives in New Smyrna, so just the sun and, the heat and everything, I'm just exhausted. But to work in a work environment, you have to have good social skills and people skills, especially if it's a work environment that caters to clientele, and especially if it's a work environment that you have more people you have to interact with, coworkers, managers, supervisors, or if you are a boss, people beneath you who you have to supervise and guide and structure and that kind of stuff. And Asperger's really does. It does affect that. I'm at a job right now where it's just the boss and me. So I guess you could say I'm an assistant manager, because when the bosses are there, I'm in charge of the store. Ironically, it's a liquor store, and I'm sober now, so it's really weird. But basically, it's either the boss who's there and I'm there, or I'm there, and when I'm there, what I say goes, because I'm running the store. So there's not really any coworkers that I have to deal with, but there are plenty of customers, and there have been lots of customers who have come to my boss, who said like, "What's up with that guy? Is he that Mike guy? Is he okay? Like, he's weird or something?" Which, usually my boss at this point will just shrug it off and go, "Yeah, yeah, he's weird, but whatever. He's a good guy. Because I've worked for him for a while, and he's little by little come to accept my weirdness." There have been other instances, however, where people have come forward to my boss and upset because I said something or did something that I didn't meant to be. I didn't mean to be weird or rude or anything, and they took it as such. And that's just something that comes with the territory. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. Like I said, this camera's brand new, and I wanted to make sure it's recording. And yeah, some misunderstandings happen when you're someone like me who doesn't have good people skills or social etiquette. And that happens with anybody. That happens with neurotypical people out at the job too. And it goes without saying that, there's a saying, the customer's always right. Well, that saying is total bullshit. Don't ever believe it. The customers are wrong. In fact, when I go somewhere and I'm a customer, I'm typically wrong about stuff too. So there are customers who do just go in looking for trouble, or customers who do go in and they think they know everything, but they don't, and they think it's your fault because you're the douchebag behind the counter. So even with neurotypical people, that happens. And I'm not. If any of my customers are watching this, I'm not talking about you. If you're someone who's actually watching my videos, I'm not talking about you, because I do like the majority of my customers. But that's just something that happens in the work world, even if you're neurotypical, even if you don't have Asperger syndrome. I've noticed, there are jobs in the past where I have had coworkers, and even though I mostly have gotten along with most of my coworkers, I have had conflicts. Especially one thing I've noticed is that, I guess because I'm more quirky and more, what's the word? I'm not trying to insult myself. Because I seem a little more spacey and quirky and stuff because of my Asperger's, I guess I come across as being inadequate in certain ways. So I've had bosses and supervisors in the past just micromanage the shit out of me. And, Mike, do this. Oh, you're done doing that? Good. Now go do this. Oh, no, don't do it that way. Do it this way. Okay, now go do this. And I'd have to turn around and go, "Listen, no disrespect, but I've been here longer than you have. I mean, I know how to do my job. I might seem inadequate, but I'm not. And then sometimes that goes over well, other times it doesn't. But I've noticed that more, it's happened at a few different jobs. Even if I knew what I was doing, and even if I did everything properly like I was supposed to be doing, it's just something that's happened. I guess because I come across as being inadequate because of the Asperger syndrome. And there's always workplace drama that goes on too, and that goes without saying, even if you're neurotypical. But I mean, there have been misunderstandings with coworkers. Have they been because of the Asperger syndrome? Maybe, maybe not. But I'm sure a few times it has. Nothing big. More importantly though, more importantly than dealing with coworkers, I think my Asperger syndrome, in some ways, has negatively impacted my work performance. And not just my Asperger syndrome, but I also have, if you haven't already guessed, I have severe ADHD too. So a lot of times I don't pay attention to close detail, or I don't always, what's the word? I don't always think of the word I'm trying to say. What's the word? I don't always assess everything as properly as I can before I act. Now, is that because of ADHD or Asperger's? I don't know. But because of that, I've made poor choices, or I've done things incorrectly, and it has negatively affected my work performance too. Case in point, I love nature. I love the environment. I love the earth. I love the universe. I love the natural world. Even spiritually, I'm pagan. I celebrate the solstices and equinoxes and moon phases. I haven't celebrated in a while because I've been so busy that I haven't, had the chance to get together with anybody and celebrate any of these things. But years ago, I decided that I've always loved plants and animals, nature, and that kind of stuff. I want to get a job in some sort of natural field, some sort of ecological field. So I went back to school. I was studying environmental science. I didn't finish getting the degree, but And then I went on and I did AmeriCorps. I was, working at a state park, and I did lots of volunteer work at an environmental center. And I did a lot of different stuff just to try to get my foot in the door, because that's how passionate I was about getting a job, you know, for working for the earth, man. Working for nature. And finally, with some help from a couple foresters who had met me and who liked me, they put in a good word, and I got my foot in the door, a temp job with the Forest Service, a temp job. This was, like, again, a temp job, foot in the door, crappy pay, no job security. Remember that I said no job security. You'll see where I'm going with the story. And it was mostly just, spraying, treating exotics, driving through the woods with a GPS system, spraying plants that shouldn't be there, making notes about plants that needed to be treated, that kind of stuff. And I liked it. It wasn't always easy, it wasn't always fun, but I generally liked it. And this was the big break I was looking for. One day I'm driving through the woods, a newly acquired piece of property. It was going through a subdivision, and I decided to turn my truck around and head back in a specific area for a reason. While I was pulling back, I backed up a little too far, and the truck backed up into a ditch. Not a big deal, because I've gotten stuck before. It happens, especially in Florida during the summertime when everything's wet. It happens. So I put the truck in 4-wheel drive. It was a Ford F-250. I put it in lower 4-wheel drive, and I gunned the gas to get out of the ditch. Well, I started revving, and while the thing was climbing out of the ditch, I heard something go pop, and the truck slid back into the ditch. And I pushed the gas a few more times to get out of that ditch, and I heard clink, 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 clink. And I'm like, okay, that can't be good. So I got out of the truck, and I looked underneath, and there was like oil squirting everywhere, and blah, blah, blah. So essentially what happened was, the truck was a Ford F-250, but the thing, it belonged in the fucking Smithsonian. It's like a 1996 truck. So the thing at the time, this was a couple years ago, it was like 18 years old. And and the thing was already falling apart. There was documents showing that this truck had been worked on so many times, and a lot of other people had problems with it, and they knew about it. Well, anyway, because I got the truck stuck, even though it was an accident, and even though the truck was really old, and even though it's been worked on lots of times, and even though it's been documented that the truck has been a problem truck, because of the job being considering a temp position where you had no job security and crappy pay, since I caused damage that cost the state money, it was a state job, they decided to just can me. They decided to let me go. And my supervisor, we had a meeting about it, and it almost seemed like she felt sorry for me. Like she wasn't even mad. She wasn't mad. When I called a couple of foresters to come help me out to get the truck, they were being total dicks. They were laughing at me. One of them actually called me a fucking idiot. We're assholes. It wasn't, it's nothing I did on purpose. It just happened. But because of all that, because it was just, the situation, the job type, and because it cost the state money, they let me go. Now, was that whole thing my fault? No, not really. It was an old truck. I accidentally got stuck because I was trying to turn around for a reason in that specific area. It wasn't really my fault. But was it kind of my fault? Yes, it kind of was, looking back in hindsight. Myself 2 years ago when this happened would probably kick my ass for saying this now, but if I would have assessed that situation just a little bit better, and I would have brainstormed and planned out my options just a little bit better, and I would have applied some common sense to that situation, it might not have happened. And hindsight's always 20/20. Would that have happened? Would it not have happened? I don't know. But that's one situation that I can think of where whether it's my Asperger's or ADHD, it negatively affected my job performance. In that case, I got fired. One of the few jobs I've ever gotten fired from, and I was so depressed about that afterwards. I'm still pretty depressed about it, even though I moved on. Just because that was the big break I was looking for, and I fucked it up one way or another, even if it wasn't totally my fault. And I was beating myself up about it for so long after that. Like, what could I have done differently? In hindsight's 20/20. So maybe I could have Maybe I could have saved the situation. I don't know, but you know, now at this point, you guys who are watching, you guys who have Asperger's who are watching this, who are younger, who haven't yet gotten out into the job world yet, are probably scared shitless. You're probably like, oh my god, what if the customers think I'm weird, and what if my coworkers micromanage the crap out of me, and what if I get myself fired because of my Asperger's? Relax, relax, relax. What you have to remember is that everybody is good at something. Everybody is good at something. I don't care who or what you are. I don't care where you come from. Everybody is good at something. And it's all a matter of finding what you're good at and putting it to good use and figuring out how to make money off of doing it. That's what the important thing is. And I think, like, I did a couple videos about stereotypes about Asperger syndrome. And I mentioned that stereotypes are not truth, but let's face it, they kind of are based on truth. And stereotypically, people with Asperger syndrome are better working alone a lot of times. There's a stereotype that they make good research scientists and good engineers because they get to work alone and they get to do very technical things. Stereotypically, people with Asperger syndrome, they're good with their hands. They like taking things apart, putting things together. Maybe if you have Asperger syndrome, maybe you'd be a good mechanic. You know, maybe you'd be a good, I don't know. I mean, I'm going into IT right now. You know, the whole environmental field didn't quite work out for me yet. So I'm actually, I'm going into systems administration because I've always liked computers, and hopefully this will be something that suits me. Now, somewhere down the line, I hope to use this IT experience to actually do something that that relates to the environmental field, that relates to something environmental too. So, you know, maybe I'll work in an IT department for an ecological engineering firm or something. You know, maybe just somehow, I don't want to let everything I've learned go to waste, everything thus far that I know go to waste. I want to use it all to do something. So I'm hoping that everything kind of climaxes and it accumulates to a point where, you know, everything IT that I'm learning now and everything environmental that I learned before, I get to use that all and have a good, fulfilling career that I enjoy. And I hope that everybody who's watching this video, you either have a great job you like, or you can, you know, you will find something that's fulfilling and that earns you enough money to at least live comfortably. So I'm going to wrap this up right now. I hope that I covered things that this is going to be a shorter video. Every video I say that I'm going to make it shorter, but I end up just dragging it on. So this video, I'm going to end it right now. Hopefully I didn't drag it on too long. If there's anything I didn't cover about this topic that I wasn't clear about, please elaborate or tell me to elaborate about it. Thanks Sunny H for recommending this topic. And if anybody out there has any other ideas of topics they want to cover, you guys have any questions pertaining to Asperger's and how it relates to anything, or any questions about Asperger's, any videos you want me to make a video about, just please let me know. As always, thank you very much guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.